The journey to our mysterious place leads us to India, to the capital of the kite fighters. In January, the Indians celebrate the end of winter with a kite festival and send millions of these paper planes into air combat, all at the same time. Essential rules: every man for himself and cut loose as many opposing kites as possible in flight. Good piloting skills and razor-sharp kite strings are decisive.
Now I got the power.
The air combat brings much fame and glory, or bloody fingers. Ahmedabad in northern India, where nearly everyone participates in the air combat.
Hey people, my name is Yash Desai and today I'm going to show you how to fly and fight kites. Welcome to India.
19-year-old Yash is a student. He's said to be the best kite fighter in the quarter. Tomorrow he wants to try and outnumber his own record of 20 cut-off kites. For this reason, he visits the greatest kite market because, apart from his superior kite-flying skills, he also needs the best material. During the first weeks of January, whole streets of houses turn into improvised kite factories. Many residents turn their ground floors into small shops for these coloured flying objects. They all want to participate financially in the hype. About 60 million euros of turnover are generated within just a few days by selling kites and kite equipment. Most kites last just a couple of flights. Yash intends to buy fresh flying apparatus at his trusted dealer. The coloured paper kites are called patang. They look harmless but are very effective in air combat.
I'm looking for a very thin paper and this overall, the way this small wood sticks are attached to it. Strong wood sticks and thin paper are probably the best thing I can get in a kite. So if I want to take it off long and long, I can take it easily.
Now Yash needs the optimal string. He'll find it in a courtyard just around the corner. A famous string maker from the neighbouring province has set up shop to make some real money here, because without a proper string, the patnas are just toothless tigers. To make the cord razor sharp, workers apply a homemade paste to it. Finely pulverised glass splinters are mixed with rice paste. Pink pigment and soap slime are added to keep the mixture flexible.
Yeah, he added, as you can see, he took the normal lutti and added the extra glass powder because to make this thing stable and quite strong, so that I'll get a better grip and strong like kite flying in the sky, so that people don't come and cut my kite.
Only experienced string makers are allowed to apply the splinter paste onto the cords. It becomes dangerously sharp as soon as it dries. Customers like Yash carefully make sure that their string is evenly coated from all sides. 200 meters of the finest quality costs €4. Mass-produced strings from China are much cheaper but significantly inferior in air combat.
Now I got the power.
Even though the festival starts tomorrow, there are some kites up in the air already. Hemil just can't wait. The 14-year-old comes from school at lunchtime and looks for opponents. He is considered to be the best kite fighter in his class and wants to stay the best too. Hemil's family lives, quite typically, in a house with a roof terrace. But on his way up, he has to cross paths with his mother. There's no sense in arguing. It's still his mum who makes the rules. Well, one small exception to the rule. Hemil is allowed to show us his collection of fighter kites before lunch.
મને છે ને એવા જાતના પતંગ ગમે છે કલરફુલ હોય ચમકે આવા જે હવામાંથી સારા દેખાય અને ચગાવવાની બી પણ મજા આવે.
One floor down, his mother has changed her tune.
હેમિલ આખો પતંગ બનાવતા પણ ઉડાવતા સારા આવે છે અને એને બધા સારો બી છે આઈડિયા મળે કે હેમિલને સારા પતંગ ચડાવે છે.
In the province of Gujarat, which is famous for its refined taste, special dishes are served during the week of the kite festival. More and more people with their kites show up on the terraces in late afternoon, a sort of public warm-up for tomorrow's great day of battle. Hemel also wants to practice today and is hoping for some advice from a very special neighbour. 60-year-old Arvind is a living kite fighter legend. He shows Hemel how to best bridle the kite. In order to find the ideal balance, the strings must be attached at the exact right places. This is the decisive factor when it comes to steering the kite.
See the balance? Command. This is called command.
Not at all easy, but Hemel concentrates much better than when he's doing his homework.
Good for the children, good for the health. Our eyes are also become powerful, and the decision making, we have to decide how to fly kites, we have to decide when to cut the kites, our neighbors' kites.
And then they finally go up to the roof for the practical part. On the evening before the kite festival, many Indians test their abilities. The only rule, everyone challenges everybody else, from roof terrace to roof terrace. As soon as two kites meet, the battle begins. Both opponents try to hit the other's string. It's a question of timing, wind, and the smallest steering maneuvers. Whoever finds a better angle and hits the opponent's string with more speed wins.
I cut that yellow one.
The kite fighters do not worry about the sharp strings taking their toll. Gloves would only be in the way of a good flight feeling.
Whatever it will happen to my fingers, I am enjoying.
Yash's roof is just about 200 meters from Hemel's roof. He too is practicing flying his kite in the sunset. Is it a common means in India to impress the girls?
No, not possibly. But yeah, it depends upon your personality. Because Indian girls are kind of shy, always hide in those roofs and all. Yeah, instead of the girls like my sister, she's lovely in that sense.
Yash's older sister Urvashi is one of the few female kite fighters.
I feel really bored to hold, just like, I'm more of a kite flyer.
Urvashi gives her all for kite fighting. For her, it's a distraction from work and sport at the same time.
It is tiring because at times if there is no wind, you can't figure out the exact direction, but still you want to fly your kite. So we just keep on trying, and in the end, it's just like a heavy workout of your arms.
Urvashi and Yash fly their kites until darkness. Tomorrow is the Great Kite Festival, and both want to take down from the sky as many patangs as possible. The party already starts at night time. Anyone who hasn't had the time for kite shopping yet sets off now to secure the last flying objects. Thousands of people turn the sale into a fair without even a drop of alcohol. Alcohol is forbidden throughout the province. Yash and Urvashi are also looking for last shopping items. You can never have enough fresh supplies at the kite festival.
Yeah, I think I got a good deal. This is crazy how it feels because you can see a lot of players around. People are just going mad to buy this.
The stands close as late as 3 a.m. in the morning. The people are left with little sleep before they have to climb up onto the roofs to join the air combat. The next morning, Urvashi goes for a fast ride around town. Her first stop, a small restaurant where they serve the traditional kite festival sweets, the jalebi. First, they're nicely fried in grease and then dipped into sugar syrup, as sweet as it gets. Jalebis are part of the kite festival like the Christmas turkey is for us. Urvashi's next stop is for safety reasons. All across the city, there are loose kites flying around. Their cut-off cords turn into a trap for the cyclists.
kites, you know, coming down on the road. It can injure the people who with the two-wheelers. It can come on your neck and all.
There is only one remedy: these safety wires. During the Kite Festival day, labourers sell these wire straps for 50 cents a piece. A life-saving investment, but in spite of the wires, several people do get injured every year. The birds run an even higher risk on this festive day. They are startled by the kites and then get caught up in the razor-sharp cords. A bird rescue centre takes care of the victims. Injured pigeons, birds of prey and crows arrive by the minute. Volunteers pick up the birds all across the city and bring them to the emergency centre by moped. The student Munami helps every year.
Yeah, we've got a bird city. It's injured. It has a wing injury by the kite string, and we're taking it to our center, Jeevda Charitable Trust, for its treatment.
The bird savers save more than 5,000 birds at every kite festival. Munami recovers a bird of prey. They are hurt most often because they try to chase the intruders away. The bird rescue is funded by well-off Indian animal lovers. The bird rescuers have little sympathy for the kite festival.
Do you really think that that's a right way to, you know, just celebrate something? No, I really don't think so. So I really don't fly kite.
At lunchtime, the streets of Ahmedabad are quieter than on any other day of the year. But on the roof decks, there is a lively hustle and bustle. The 14th of January is a public holiday in the province of Gujarat. Traditionally, people here celebrate it with a kite battle. In the early afternoon, Hemel is already in a party mood. He's achieved his goal and has taken down 15 kites from the sky. Even though he won't receive a prize, it won't take long for the word to spread around the neighborhood. On the roof of Yash's and Urvashi's house, the kite party with friends and family is in full swing.
It's like a party time. Let's fly kites.
Woo! The sky looks like it's raining confetti, but these coloured spots are thousands of kites.
My goal for today is like I should at least cut down 20 kites today with a single kite in my hand. Feeling very good, man, very good.
Now, everything depends on the wind and how alert Yash remains. Not an easy challenge with the general party mood around him.
Yeah! Woo!
There are no official certificates, but being successful earns you recognition from the neighbouring roofs. Urvashi's mother serves the guests. Traditional snacks the whole day long. Yash is still fully focused on the battle, but after 2 hours, he runs out of luck.
Freak, man! I lost it.
He can't break his own record this time. The wind was too weak and came from the wrong direction.
Well, it was going just well, and from one kite I took like around 10 shots today, but it's hard luck today, I guess.
But an Indian kite fighter doesn't let it get him down. A quick photo of his sister and himself, and the kite festival comes to a romantic end.
It was awesome.
Fantastic, man. I enjoyed it.
Hundreds of thousands of lanterns replace the patangs in the sky. But exactly 1 year from now, the kites will return. From India, our journey goes on to China. Our next destination is Chongqing in China. From here, we drive about 250 kilometers to the village of Zhangzhou. Why do we take on this strain? We are looking for a green mountain, painted over by villagers. The driver tells us that this mountain is a real issue of dispute. It takes us more than 4 hours to travel these 250 kilometers. Zhangjiao is situated in the mountains. Most people here are poor farmers who earn their living by growing vegetables and farming animals. Do you recognize the Green Mountain from our photo? A reasonable criticism. After 3 hours of hiking, we finally arrive at our destination.
Ist das nicht der Tempel von dem Foto?
Ja, das ist doch das Foto.
Das ist das Foto?
Ja. Stimmt.
In fact, the Green Mountain of China, a gigantic rock face which has simply been painted over. The rock massif declines vertically downwards. This is more than 50,000 square meters of painted stone. Who does something like this? Directly opposite is a small temple. This is where we meet the monk Xuanfen.
呢個叫做下。
他们说的有污染了，有污染没得？
对，那个
都是这个清了。
清那个庙呢更想称一点。
都有和和跟庙配的文风都说。
啊，这个意思。
他们有他的跟这个庙配的文风。
Another hike away, we reach a small settlement. This is where the great feng shui master, who is responsible for the colouring of the mountain, is supposed to live. The great master is currently not at home, but his family invites us in for a meal. His brother, as well as his wife, have helped paint the mountain. Ah, so this is the reason. The family's house lies directly in front of the rock face. The bright rock is said to send out the spirits of the white tiger. These are held responsible for bad luck and natural disasters. That's why the feng shui master has simply painted the rock green, because green is a lucky color. The next morning, the whole village is in a flurry of excitement. The feng shui master is obviously very irritated. He absolutely doesn't agree with the painting ban. Yang Shigang is responsible for the Great Mountain Mural. He's already invested 2 months of his time and about 15,000 euros to free his village from the evil spirits. Together with a friend, he is checking the equipment. The hiking gear is stored in the goat shed next door. They need it to be able to reach even the higher up places of the rock face. They use latex color for painting. It's not exactly environmentally friendly, since the plastic is poorly biodegradable. Altogether, the feng shui master and his family have invested more than 1,000 working hours and their entire savings in the Green Mountain. Now they are lacking the money to repair the spraying equipment. 50,000 square kilometers have already been colored green. Another 10,000 are to follow. The extent of the mountain coloring is even better visible from the skies. An extremely painstaking undertaking in this inaccessible area, because the only path to the rock leads through bamboo and thorn tendrils. After just under 45 minutes, Yang Zhigang has arrived at his destination. He doesn't let the ban nor his empty wallet stop him. Stroke after stroke, Yang Zhigang comes closer to his goal to colour the whole mountainside for his family to be more fortunate. Are there any first signs of success? Even if neighbours and authorities condemn his painting activities, Yang Zhigang unwaveringly cuts his own path. But some time will pass until the whole rock is painted green. Our journey continues to Africa. In Zimbabwe, we meet Nikita, one of the most famous photographers in the country. She is very passionate about abandoned places, and there are plenty of them in Zimbabwe. In fact, this South African country was relatively wealthy until the 1990s, a popular tourist destination. But then, the government descended into a dictatorship and the economy was mismanaged. Today, the 29-year-old photographer wants to explore one of the abandoned hotels in the east of the country.
We'll just see what's there. I'm going to try and find a caretaker or someone on the property. Normally these old properties, even if they're abandoned, there'll be someone living there that is getting paid just to kind of, make sure that no thieves come or anything like that.
Apparently, the caretaker used to work in the hotel himself. Nikita hopes he will be able to provide her with some information.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm Nikita.
Okay.
What's your name?
Zimbabwean.
Okay, are you the caretaker for here?
Yes.
So do you mind showing us around? Maybe we can take a few pictures.
It's no problem.
Okay.
Yes.
The hotel went bankrupt in the late 1990s. That was when the government confiscated the farms of white Zimbabweans. The economy collapsed and the tourists stopped coming. Brighton, the caretaker, really did used to work in the hotel, and he can still remember the times when it was full of tourists.
What's this room used for?
This one is a lounge.
Oh, like the dining room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not much remains of the old glamour.
Oh, and I can see a pool down there.
Yeah. We put some water.
Yeah?
Yes, but now so bamboo is not working.
Nikita, the photographer of abandoned places, is looking for appropriate shots.
This was a stove. And then what would happen? Everything would warm up. Pots all over.
Yes.
I wonder what year this is from. Maybe 100 years ago.
Yeah, 100 years, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100 years. Yeah, this one.
Right to the very end, the staff would cook on the old stove from the colonial period. It's an outstanding motif for the photographer of ruins.
You know Nzani?
Next, Brighton wants to show Nikita the old hotel bar, which had a certain notoriety. It was popular not only with tourists, but also with the local farmers. But that's a long time ago. The tourists and the farmers have all disappeared, and the land is in ruins.
Wow, look at these cassettes. I feel like I just walked into 1975.
And this isn't all that Nikita finds.
Receipts. $1,250,000 only. This is back when we had our Zim dollars. 3 lions for 16,500,000. That's a beer.
Today, Zimbabwe has abandoned its own currency and uses US dollars instead. In the hotel's winter garden, a surprise awaits the photographer.
I think it's good to see a space, you know, even if it's abandoned by what it used to be, at least it's being utilized for something, right?
Now that the big farms are lying fallow, many people have been forced to grow maize themselves. The janitor Brighton uses the old hotel garden for this purpose. Nikita decides to take a photograph from the outside.
Having people with the derelict buildings is a dream. I mean, the buildings are beautiful, but I just feel like having a face in it brings so much more character to the picture.
Our next destination is in Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe.
So I heard that there's an abandoned factory that used to make batches and razor blades, so we're going to see if we can find it. I have basic directions, but I'm not exactly sure where it is.
The factory is in the industrial region of Harare. The photographer gets into the abandoned building and finds the remains of the old factory.
It actually kind of looks like some of this building has been burnt down, which is possibly why they closed it in the first place. But I really want to go and check out what else is around.
When Nikita has resolved to get into an abandoned place, it would take more than a locked factory gate to stop her.
Wow, look at these old computers. God, those are ancient.
Nikita makes discoveries everywhere.
It's amazing. It's literally like people just left work and nothing's been cleaned up.
There are still warning signs for workers who vanished years ago.
Guys, I think I found something cool.
The photographer is fascinated by an old laboratory. There are still bottles here full of chemicals, all covered with a thick layer of dust. Everything looks as though the employees simply stopped coming to work one day.
Oh wow, this is amazing.
The photographer hopes to capture the special atmosphere of the old factory.
I really want to get a picture of the factory from up there, so hopefully it's safe. But I'm going to try and get up here.
Abandoned buildings, ruins, bankrupt companies, there are plenty of them in Zimbabwe. No doubt Nikita's book with photographs of abandoned places will soon be full to the brim. We continue our journey to India. Chennai, India, 8.5 million inhabitants. Here you find the largest fruit and vegetable market in the world, as large as 11 soccer fields. 150 tons of fruit and vegetables are on sale here daily. Among them, the largest fruit in the world. 3,000 merchants with 40,000 employees. A market as big as a village, with its own police and its own elected mayor. A mega market that never sleeps. But how does it work? 3 a.m., 25 degrees Celsius, and rush hour in the city has already started. Right in the middle of it, truck driver Malik. He's in a hurry.
இப்போ 4 வரங்க திரும்ப 5 மணிக்குனா வெளியே அவுட் ஆகணும் வண்டி நாங்கள் 3 மணிக்கு வந்தேனுங்க இப்போ மணி 4 ஆக போகுது மார்க்கெட்டு மல்லி கொத்தமல்லி திரும்ப 5 மணிக்குனா வெளியே அவுட் ஆகணும் வண்டி இது வாங்கி அவங்க கொடுங்க
What Malik tries to do is the exact same thing that 400 other truck drivers intend to do, unload. The problem? There are no marked parking zones. People unload wherever it's possible. To regain some control over this chaos, the market officials close the gates as early as 4 a.m.
டைம் ஆச்சு வேணாம் ஏன்னா டைம் ஆச்சு இந்த ரிக்ஷா இருந்த தள்ளு இந்த ரிக்ஷா இருக்கிறதுனால எனக்கு பிரச்சனை இருக்குது இல்லை கிளீனாக ரோடு கரெக்டாக நிறுத்திடணும் கிளீனரை தள்ள சொல்கிறேன் பக்கம்
Malik is lucky and manages to get one of the last free parking spaces. No time to lose now. 5 tons of spinach must arrive at the dealers as quickly as possible. Step number 2, the bicycle rickshaws. They carry the spinach to the wholesale dealer or directly to the stands. This is how 150 tons of fruit and vegetables are delivered here every day. 5 a.m. Temperatures are rising, the peak period in the vegetable quarter. Vegetable dealer GDR has been up for 3 hours already, and his working day is actually just starting. He must sell the products he has just received as quickly as possible, because there are no cool storing places on the Coimbatore.
Only I am telling now. What I am telling now, these items are only perishable. We must only kept it only 8 o'clock only. Below 8 or 9 o'clock we cannot kept it. We would have sold it. Whatever rate it come, it will sell it.
A race against time and against the increasing heat. That's why the Coimbatore is considered to be the toughest market in the world. The sacks change owners by the minute now. The dealers are trying to undersell the competitors with loud roaring. GDR is one of the fastest and most successful wholesale dealers here. That's why the dealers elected him as market mayor. Mr. Palani is a true Coimbatore doyen. He works as a quality manager for the banana cooperative. But today, it's not about bananas, it's about banana leftovers. India produces an annual amount of 30 million tons of bananas, almost exclusively for the domestic market. And people make money even with the leftovers of the plant. This morning, Mr. Palani has an appointment with a dealer who specializes in selling the leaves.
இது வரல கட் பண்ணி சாப்பாட்டு கொடுக்குறாங்க இது வரல கட் பண்ணி டிஃபனுக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க இது வேலூர்லேருந்து வருது வேலூர் ஆற்காடு அந்த சைட்லேருந்து இந்த இலை வருது இதெல்லாம் வந்து டிஃபனு சாப்பாட்டுக்கு காரியத்துக்கு கல்யாணத்துக்கெல்லாம் இலை யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க.
Because these leaves are used as disposable plates in restaurants and coffee shops. Especially handy, they are compostable and therefore eco-friendly. More than 3,000 dealers and 40,000 people work at the market, and that often creates conflicts. That's why the market has its own police force. At 6 a.m. it's scorching hot already. Captain Rahman holds his daily briefing.
ஜானி பப்பு நீங்கள் வந்து 7ஆம் நம்பர்லேருந்து 16ஆம் நம்பர் வரைக்கும் இருக்குல்ல அந்த டிராஃபிக்கு அந்த வெண்டர்ஸு இதெல்லாம் நீங்கள் பார்த்துக்கிறீங்க ஓகே இருந்தாலும் நீ வந்து ஃப்ளவர் மார்க்கெட்டை பார்த்துக்கிறீங்க பட் எல்லாருமே சேஃப்டியாக போய் டியூட்டி பார்த்துட்டு நீங்கள் வாங்க ஓகே ரைட்
12 men for 119 hectares. Shortly before 7 a.m, rush hour at the Coimbatore. The vendors and the collecting customers are in the market at the same time. A complete traffic chaos. Captain Rahman and his squad are trying to restore order.
டிராஃபிக்னா ஹெவியாக வந்து இந்த வண்டி பார்க்கிங்கில் நிற்கிறாங்களா கவர்மெண்ட் வண்டி நிற்கிறாங்க இப்போ கவர்மெண்ட் வண்டி நிற்கிறதுனால இப்போ வந்து டிராஃபிக் ஹெவியாக இருக்குது.
Most of the goods go straight to the shop and restaurant owners, but there are also market halls in which everyone is allowed to shop. The goods are mostly cheaper and fresher than in the supermarket. If you want to get special deals at the market, you have to get up early. Mr. Palani is still on his way. At 8 o'clock, the stands are thinning out, but all of a sudden, new visitors arrive in the market.
மாடுகள் மேய்ஞ்ச காடு மேன்னா காடு பசுக்கள் மேய்ஞ்ச காடுன்றதுனால இந்த பசுக்களை வந்து கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ண முடியல நிறைய வந்து அதுக்கு உள்ள வந்து சாப்பிட்றதுக்காண்டி அது தீனி இறைய தேடி வருது.
The Coimbatore is just under a kilometre long. For long trips like this one, he uses his motorcycle. He's allowed to drive it through the market halls. In India, people use muscle power to transport the goods. 20,000 carriers serve as the market's lifeline. Without them, the goods in the stands would rot. Akuguru is one of them. The 19-year-old has been working here for 2 years. He's been up since 7 a.m. His last job of the day, unload at a sage wholesale dealer. Carrying almost 80 kilos for just €1 a day. He works wherever he is needed. Most workers actually live on the market. They sleep wherever they find a spot. That's why the market includes many snack bars, a hairdresser, and various shops for everyday needs. With over 40,000 workers here, there are disputes on a regular basis. It's the reason for Mayor GDR's appointment with the spokesman of the carriers. A few drunk workers went on the rampage last night.
90-95% எங்களுக்குள்ளே முடிச்சுப்போம் பிரச்சனையை நாங்களே முடிச்சு எல்லாம் பேசி இது பண்ணுவோம் ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் வந்தால் இங்கே எல்லாம் பேசி முடிச்சுப்போம்.
At 10 o'clock, the market closes. It's time to settle the accounts. The customers' couriers go over to the wholesale dealers and pay yesterday's goods. For Mr. Palani's friend Sarim Reem, it's the best part of the day.
பெங்களூர்லேருந்து வருது எங்களுக்கு இன்னைக்கு வியாபாரம் நல்லா இருந்துச்சு. இன்னைக்கு நாங்கள் வந்து கடன் கொடுத்து வாங்குறோம். இன்னைக்கு சரக்கு கொடுத்தா நாளைக்கு தான் வாங்குவோம்.
3,000 dealers make a turnover of 3 billion rupees, which are 4 million euros. All transactions are paid in cash. These sums attract many people, but it's difficult to set up shop without a market concession. Many stands are family enterprises and have been for many generations. Up to 40 tons of fruit every day are left unsold. They either end up on the waste dump or on the black market. Everywhere between the market halls and the stands, the illegal fruit business is booming now. That's why raids against the marketeers are part of Captain Rahman's daily tasks.
vehicle வெண்டர்னா அவங்க சரக்கெல்லாம் வந்து பப்ளிக் போகக்கூடிய மூவ்மெண்ட்ஸில் வந்து வச்சுக்கிறாங்க. பப்ளிக் பிளேஸில் வைக்கிறதுனால போக்குவரத்துக்கு இடையூறாக இருக்குது. யாரும் பப்ளிக் வந்து சரக்கு வாங்கிட்டு போகிறதுக்கு வெளி மார்க்கெட்டுக்கு போகிறவங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப தொல்லையாக இருக்குது. இந்த மாதிரி ப்ராப்ளம் அதனால்.
But his actions aren't very successful. Often the marketeers open up shop somewhere else after half an hour. At midnight, Mr. Palani calls it a day, but he still has one more appointment.
காலையில இருந்து பிள்ளையாருக்கு பூஜை பண்ணிட்டு அப்புறம் முருகருக்கு பூஜை பண்ணிட்டு அப்புறம் அம்பாளுக்கு பூஜை பண்ணிட்டு அப்புறம் பெருமாளுக்கு பூஜை பண்ணிட்டு சிவனுக்கு பூஜை பண்ணிட்டு.
To keep it that way, he bought himself a golden ring for each Indian deity. And as is proper for a man in his profession, he has to sacrifice fruit too. So Mr. Palani and his colleagues may successfully continue their business on the greatest fruit and vegetable market in the world. Our next mysterious place lies here in China. Whenever Wei Yan and Xin Ben Fa cuddle in public, they attract attention. Because many people think they are children, but he is 25 and she is 26. Since at least when he asked her to marry him in a Chinese talent show, they are the most famous people of short stature in China. She is 4.2 feet, he is 4.4 feet.
我们前面都感觉好像有点像那个，他们是不是袖珍啊？是吧？
Belittlement and prejudices. That's what they have to face each and every day. But they are adults. But small as children and with high voices. Nevertheless, hiding at home is not an option for the couple.
看呗，没什么，咱也不能说，我们也没啥感觉，一开始有感觉，现在没啥感觉了。
Even if things in China are subject to change, loners and people who stand out from the masses are frowned upon. That's why Jin Ben Fa has created a space especially for people of short stature. He founded a soccer team. Average age, 25 years. Average height, 4.4 feet. No one here thinks they are children. It's easier to play with like-minded people. The team wants to show us what life is like in China for people of short stature. 25-year-old Jin Ben Fa will get the ball rolling. He's captain of the soccer team. We accompany him in his everyday life. Life isn't easy for him. There are many things to which the couple is denied access. Wei Yan can only marvel at the latest fashion trends in the shop windows.
衣服都好漂亮，可惜没有我们的尺寸，穿不了。
There's only one way for them to find fitting clothes, in the children's department. Often the two have to search for hours to discover only half-decent clothes.
你像我有时候买一些衣服吧，比如说是童装，有好多那个有一些什么奥特曼呀，有些喜羊羊的我都不喜欢，就喜欢比较简单一点的穿着。
Everyday clothes are hard to find for them, but there are chic dresses in the girls' department. Today, Wei Yan has finally found a dress for the upcoming wedding.
因为我们那个要结婚了，然后婚纱照也拍完了，就等着回家结婚了，然后买的礼物。
Today's shopping turned out to be a success. Now we accompany Wang Wenbin, nicknamed Bin Bin. The 22-year-old has just recently moved to Beijing. People of short stature have great difficulties finding a suitable apartment. That's why Bin Bin moves in with his teammates.
是这样的，我们床铺已经给你安排在这里了啊，已经给你安排好了啊，你看一下，你觉得怎么样？上铺。你要从这个梯子每天要登到上面，因为我们是从分到上。
It's a completely new start for 22-year-old Bin Bin. He worked as a kindergarten teacher before, but he quit the job.
在幼儿园里工作吧，他挣的比较少，比这边挣的要比较少。
The room is far from being clean. Bin Bin pays €100 a month. There is no privacy. He shares the place with 10 of his colleagues. Nevertheless, this place is a refuge for people of short stature. They are not considered different here. We aren't supposed to film the bathroom. The conditions here are poor, but Bin Bin will accept them because he shares an apartment with people who are like him. He has also found a job. The people of short stature run a theatre where they stage classical Chinese shadow puppetry, an ancient art. Bin Bin feels honoured to be given the chance to learn how it all works. Here, behind the stage, the people of short stature are stars. Today, his training begins. It will take half a year. The former kindergarten teacher is happy with his new job.
对，第一次，感觉这个皮影可难了，我都没有信心，不知道能不能学好。耍到会有动，会往上扯，你一定要，当时你一定要这个手。
Van Yonyue is 23 years old and 4.5 feet. His greatest wish is to finally find a girlfriend, and that's today's mission. Because people of short stature look like kids, they are treated that way their whole lives.
像我们这 这种情况呢，找女朋友都不是很顺利。之前有过几次，但是都不太好。今天呢，我要遇到一个特别厉害的红娘。
Yue faces many challenges in everyday life. For example, he can't just buy cigarettes, even if he is an adult.
老板你好，我要买一盒烟。
你小孩子你多大了？买烟？
我已经成年了，22岁，快点。
不能买了，走吧，不能买了，走吧。小孩子不能买烟。
不是，老板，我真的是成年人，慢一会儿。
谁相信你呢？小孩子这么高，人家这么高是吧？小孩子不能买烟。啊，走吧，快走，快走，不能买烟。
为什么你不卖香烟？
小孩子22岁，人家比我都还要高，还22岁了，不能买烟。这国家有规定的，未成年不能卖烟给他。
Yue would also love to be able to drive. He dreams of owning a car, but not only the cost is in the way.
像正常人一样，个子比较高，腿比较长，他就可以开。像我们，因为腿比较短。
Yue's dream will probably never come true with his monthly wage of only €250. He has to take the subway. In Beijing, the subway is always crowded. 4 million people take it every day.
我们每次要坐地铁，因为人比较多，我们个子比较小。
At least he might not have to take it all on his own soon. Shaoli is the perfect woman for the job when it comes to people of small stature. She finds jobs for them and is also good at pairing them off. Today, she wants to find a woman for Yue.
我们瘦身人的婚姻这么困难的最大的原因就是人们不了解我们，以为我们个子矮小会遗传的，其实不会遗传，下一代不会遗传的，我们是偶发的。如果袖珍的。
What makes it even more difficult is that Yue is quite picky.
学历也低，
要中学以上是吧？
还有太远了，安徽的。
体重。
身高低了，年龄有点大了。
She has to be athletic and about his size. In the end, they do make a score.
这个像啊，这个像，最大了，最大了。
再看看这个。
Yue chooses a lady whom he'd like to meet.
今天的收获挺大的，小丽姐给我介绍了一个我挺满意的，我回到家就会给她打电话，希望有个好结果。
Jin Benfa and Wei Yang have already found one another. They also live in the shared community of the people of small stature.
累了啊？今天高兴吗？高兴。你回去睡觉，睡会儿吧啊。回去睡吧。睡去吧啊。行，有啥事我打电话。行啊。
In the shared apartment, they have to sleep separately because there are no single rooms. But Wei Yan is happy anyway.
在家里都是想给你找个正常人嘛，因为他毕竟想我个儿那么小，然后想找一个能照顾我的。然后现在我认为来到这儿吧，没必要去找一个个那么高的。
Her husband feels at home in the shared apartment too. His parents couldn't cope with his restricted growth.
现在哪个人说了什么吃药啊、打针啊、针灸啊？ 还有穿一些鞋、增高鞋和一些增高药啊，都不管事，都没有一定的起到作用。
In the shared apartment, none of that is a problem. The only thing he does see as a problem is the sleeping apart. There's no privacy here at all. In order to be by themselves, they only have one option.
他的想我们要想就是住在一起的话，就是。 比如说去宾馆住宾馆。
They dream of moving into their own apartment. A few months later, we meet the group once more in a public swimming pool in Beijing. Meanwhile, Yue Yue has gone out on his third date with Li Xiaofeng, the woman from the Lonely Hearts advertisement. They seem to get along well.
性格挺开朗，挺不错的。非常像我们这些
Yue Yue and his friends hang in there. In the meantime, Bin Bin has settled in and has found new friends. He is a permanent team member now. In the shared apartment for people of small stature, they have found a place where they can be themselves, even if the rest of Chinese society finds them rather mysterious.